gentlemen, to really our very first official Jubi Rev training leadership webinar. This is T. Lamont Silver Sr. Everyone calls me T. Lamont. I will be your host for this evening, and believe you me, over time you're going to hear a lot more voices than just yours truly. However, I will be your host for this evening. Now, what we're going to do on this evening is we're going to focus on the product side and why the company is going with skincare and weight. You've been a part of the revenue sharing industry, if you will, all right, the segment of our industry that has this type of compensation model. Some of you were with a huge company that did phenomenally well, and then all of a sudden, abruptly, things just stopped. And so we need to understand the product side of things. We need to understand the product side of things. When we get that and understand that, what the company has done, what the company's putting together, then we can get really, really, really excited about the income opportunity. I need you guys to give me just a moment here, and then we'll start doing some introductions, then we'll get into our training for this evening. Give me just a moment, please. Started here in just a few moments. If you would go on and put your name and what part of the world you are from. We'll keep it to first names. We won't say your last name. Some of you may be promoting certain businesses that don't really like you promoting anything other than them, which I've never understood when the industry says you're in business for yourself and not by yourself. But then they say you can only promote for me. I've never gotten that one, but in any event, we've been in this industry 19 years, so we know some of the things that happens out there. So we'll just keep it to your first name. We won't mention your last name. Good day, Gwen. How are you doing, young lady? Lancelot from Jamaica. Fantastic. Paul, welcome to the webinar. Rob from Pennsylvania, welcome to the webinar. Louise, well, it's morning there, huh? Not evening over there in Australia. Good to see you, Louise. Isaiah from Cambodia. Wow. Welcome to the webinar. Lana or Lena, forgive me if I mispronounced one of those, I'm sure. From Alexandria, Virginia, welcome to the webinar. Elaine, welcome. Andy, welcome. I've seen Elaine and Andy for a long time. I don't know that they've ever missed any of our webinars. They get the perfect attendance award. Rick from Miami, welcome. Helen from Florida, welcome. Fred from Cincinnati, welcome. Francis from Syracuse, welcome. Fred from Capitol Heights, Maryland, welcome. Oh, hey, buddy. Good to see you, my friend. I just noticed that last name. Good to see you. Cynthia, good to see you. Is it Heron? Heron, forgive me if I messed that up, from the UK. Shirley from Seattle, good to see you. Wow, is it Ingi or Ingi? Please forgive me, from Iceland if I messed that up. Derek from Boston, welcome. Sharon from Texas, welcome. Daryl from New York, welcome. Dennis from California, welcome. Foy, what a wonderful conversation the other day, buddy. I really appreciate you taking that time out with us. From Florida, welcome. Cheryl from Texas, welcome. Bev from Clearwater, Florida, welcome. Ellen from Oregon, Randy from Bermuda, CC from New Jersey, Louise from, where is OZ? I'm not sure where, oh, anyway, I'm sorry. Kyle from Myrtle Beach, welcome, buddy. John from the USA, Lisa in Tennessee. We've got George, we've got Diane, we've got Elizabeth, and we've got Beth in Elizabeth, South Carolina. We've got Mike in Iowa. We've got Jacqueline in Orlando. We've got Lynn in Connecticut. John in Maine. George in Australia. Damien from the UK. My goodness. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I won't be able to get to everyone. We need to go on and get things started here. We'll try to acknowledge as many of you as we possibly can. I need one last thing to do here, and we should be just about ready to get things started. What a wonderful, wonderful start here to Jubi Rev, Jubi Max, and I'll be honest with you, I'm extremely, not only am I excited, but I'm blown away. Some of you, really now a minority of you, a very small minority of you, had been following some webinars that we were doing in preparations for pre-registration, which is the stage that we're in right now, for maybe about a 3-week period. And we had a nice little audience that would come onto our webinars. But wow, what has happened since the pre-registration pages came up is really simply amazing. One last thing, and then we get started. I do apologize for that. I'm wanting to set a recording here. Bah humbug. My recording software is not acting right. Let's see if we can get this. Try it again. All right, almost there, almost there. Testing, testing, testing. Okay, we should be there. All right, so fantastic. All right, so now let's go on to get started with the training. Couple of house cleaning items here. Couple of house cleaning items. For those of you that are going over, and hopefully everyone is starting to do this, hopefully you're in your back office, you are friending on Facebook, and you're following on Twitter and also YouTube. Be mindful that we want to build with integrity and character. The whole idea of those social media groups there is for our Jubi following and our Jubi family to be able to connect with each other. What it is not designed to do is to try to send out your links or links of other things on those particular networks. Now, we certainly are respectful that many of our promoters have other companies that you have in your promotional bags, and we certainly tip our hat off to all of you entrepreneurs out there. But it's not in good taste to go to a Facebook fan page set up by Jubi Corporate and start disseminating your links, whether they're Jubi links or whether there's something else. So I want to put that out there now so that doesn't happen. We have let the moderator know that if they're seeing things like that, that we'll love you, but we'll have to love you out of those rooms, okay? All right, so let's just build with character and integrity. By the way, I can't see everybody, but probably Monday night we'll be able to probably give you a top 10. I'm not sure when they're going to post it in terms of a leadership board, but we'll be able to show maybe the top 10 personal pre-registrant enrollers. You've enrolled the most folks. I see Tyron from the Trinidad area. I know you're in the top 4 or 5 or something like that with a couple of hundred personal enrollees. Absolutely phenomenal, so fantastic. And if there's some other of you that are out there that are going to be on that list and I didn't quite see you, please forgive me for not mentioning your name. Okay, what we're going to do tonight is we want to focus on the product categories. The product categories of the company. And I know for some folks they're saying, just show me the money. Just get to the money. I want to understand the compensation plan. And I promise you, you're going to do that. But this is what hopefully some of you have now come to realize. I've been in this industry for 19 years. The first 17 years, though it was a comp plan, it was a lot more about the product. We would teach people to be products of the product, be products of the product. And then we stumbled across the revenue sharing model with a company that had penny auctions, and we forgot about that. We forgot. I was with that particular outfit for 17 months, and I probably only went to the auction maybe 5 times. I got so enamored by the revenue that was being produced that I lost sight on the industry. The industry is about product movement, and the fact that we, as the company will refer to us as promoters are paid. That's just a way that the companies have decided to distribute their products and services to the end customer, as opposed to other forms of very costly advertising that don't necessarily get the results. And so at least I forgot about that. I am repenting before you for my MLM, network marketing, affiliate marketing, work at home sins, because I forgot about that. So when they started sharing with us, they being management, who you will meet very soon, when they started sharing with us their vision from a product standpoint, that's what really opened my eyes to look more at the income opportunity, because if the products are products that the consuming public would want, whether or not they're tied to the income opportunity, now we've got something here, okay? We also know that in doing a lot of research with companies that in the revenue sharing space, that there are some concerns that regulators would have out there. One concern that regulators would have is the product being used? Are people actually using the product? Is it a legitimate product? Is it a value-added product that people would use, both in the network, the affiliates, the promoters, and certainly outside of the network, those who have nothing to do with the model? And once again, I go back to, here I was with a company for 17 months, and I probably went in the product, if you will, 5 times in that entire 17 months. So we want to make sure that the product is used. The product is used. One of the things that we've seen with revenue sharing companies is that people can get customers, or they can get, I should say, registered customers. All right, registered customers. And typically, customers register for free, and then you give away a sample. So if you were in the penny auction model, you give away bids. We have started to see an evolution, and please, this is my feeling on this. I liken the revenue sharing model to the binary model from this standpoint. Not its structure, it's totally different. But some of you will remember that earlier on in the binary compensation model in its earlier years, that a lot of companies that adopted a binary model ran into some regulatory scrutiny, okay, earlier on. Now, one of the things that you may not know about this industry, you know, most companies are going to have attorneys and they're going to have consultants, okay? Now, these attorneys and consultants, for the most part, remember, I was part owner of a network marketing company once upon a time. We didn't quite make it, but I learned a whole lot. These attorneys and consultants tend to be connected. So if you go to ABC Attorney and you're starting off a company, you go to ABC Attorney because you need to have good legal and looking over your comp plan and everything like that. Well, typically, ABC Attorney, if you don't already have a consultant, is going to send you over to Mr. or Mrs. Consultant that's in their network. Or if you go to the consultant first, then the consultant's going to normally say, well, who's your attorney? Oh, by the way, I have an attorney over here, and this is a fairly small fraternity or sorority or of such of attorneys and consultants that are the top in this industry. Now, understand this, that most of these attorneys and consultants are on a retainer. It may be something that's monthly, okay? So I want you to understand how this works, okay? If you have a client that has a compensation model, let's say a binary, which, by the way, are very profitable for companies, very profitable, and if that company, for whatever reason, comes under regulatory scrutiny and that company goes away, who loses the client? Consultant loses the client. Attorney loses the client. While you and I are looking for residual income, what about that attorney? He's looking for residual income. What about the consultant? She's looking for residual income. So a lot of companies came out early on and they were met with some regulatory headwinds. And so these consultants and attorneys said, hey, we're losing these clients, and that doesn't bode well for us. Maybe we need to figure out this model. Let's find out what Mr. or Mrs. Regulator don't quite like. And what we found is they did not do a wholesale change on the model. They simply made some modifications. When you figure out what they don't like, okay, so let's make sure that this model doesn't have some of those things they don't like. And so now we see a ton of companies, product-based, service-based, that have what? A binary model. It's a staple. of the MLM network marketing world. I believe that this revenue sharing model, I'm going to get to the products, all right? I believe the revenue sharing model is in the early stages of where the binary model was. Exciting, it has sizzle, she's got curves, a little sex appeal, yet there's still some things being figured out as it relates to what needs to happen. What are some things that need to be put in place from a regulatory standpoint so that when Mr. Regulator comes, and he comes to visit every company that ever achieves any type of size, when Mr. Regulator, when Mrs. Regulator comes and they put that regulatory test, obviously we want Jubi Rev and Jubi Max to pass the test. All right, now with that being said, Jubi Max, Jubi Rev said, well, maybe, actually, let's go back. Jubi Max, Jubi Rev, Jubi Max, they looked at the industry and they saw that by and large in the industry, the companies that stand the test of time, the companies that become the most profitable companies, are those that actually happen to be in the consumable product space. Give me just a moment. I want to bring this up for you. Now, what I'm about to show you in just a moment, I'm sure you can go to the internet and probably find other reports that may give some different numbers than what I'm going to show you. But these are the numbers that I've studied and that I've seen. Give me just a moment. I want to show you this. What I'm going to show you is a chart that shows the top 14 companies in the direct selling space when determined by their gross revenue, when determined by their gross sales. And when we look at this chart here, and of course we're not here to promote any of these companies, but when you look at this chart here, you see that Avon leads the way. Been around since 1886, about $11 billion a year. And then, of course, you see Amway. And then there's Natura. I was not familiar with Natura, but it looks like they're in the cosmetics, perfumes, personal care space. Sounds like maybe even some skincare in there. But when you look at the top 14 companies, 12 of these companies that produce the most revenues are in the consumable product space, whether those consumable products happen to be skincare, personal care, or what have you, or whether they happen to be nutritional supplements like Herbalife, or whether you're Amway and you got a hodgepodge of a whole lot of different products, some of them that are branded to you, some of them you're simply serving as a distribution outlet for other manufacturers and companies and so on and so forth. So what Jubi Rev, Jubi Max said is, in the revenue sharing industry, up to this point, what we have seen are companies that have either a digital type product like a bid, or they're in a service area like advertising. And we're not here to foo-fooey on any of that. But what Jubi Rev, Jubi Max said is, why don't we look at what has been long-standing in the industry? Avon's been around since 1886. Amway, 1959. Herbalife, 1980. Mary Kay, 1963. Why don't we focus on products that are already proven? See, we don't have to wonder if skincare or weight loss or energy or vitality are proven products. The jury may still be out on penny auctions, which is one of the reasons why you've seen some companies that have a revenue sharing model that started off with only penny auctions. Since the one company that had penny auctions, the biggest one that we had seen, ran into some headwinds, we started seeing some of those companies with penny auctions start to broaden their portfolio with other products and services. Okay, so now that as a backdrop, Now, so the company said, we want to have products that have stood the test of time in this industry, and let's distribute those products millions of consuming to millions of folks in the consuming public. And what we'll do is we'll wrap a revenue sharing model around it because we know that attracts promoters. That attracts people that want to generate some revenue, and that's going to help us to distribute more and more and more and more and more of these products. Now, one of the things that the company did is there is a professional affiliate marketing group that consults and has an ongoing consulting relationship with the company. Now, what I've just posted is not the skincare product line that we will have in our portfolio. We will have our own branded, and Jeff, if you happen to be on the webinar, yes, sir, I did see your question, just didn't get a chance to get to it. We will have our own Jubi Max branded product line. Now, there'll be some other things that we'll have that aren't necessarily Jubi Max branded, but of the 4 categories that we're going to focus on: skincare, weight loss, energy, vitality, those are Jubi Max branded. Jubi Rev is our company's a promoter portal for we building the business. Jubi Max is our company's customer portal where we would distribute millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of physical, tangible, consumable products. Here we go. So this affiliate marketing group, they've gotten really good at affiliate marketing. Now, affiliate marketing is different than MLMing. It's different than network marketing. Affiliate marketers aren't out building a referral network. What they do is they go, some of you know a little bit about affiliate marketing, ClickBank or ClickBooth, where you have these vendors that have a product or a service, and then you can take that link and you put it on your blog, and it's up to you, the affiliate marketer, to market it. And so some people wind up doing Google pay-per-click and Facebook marketing and solo ads and a number of different marketing methods. Okay, now, this particular professional affiliate marketing group, they did a lot of research to determine what products move on the internet so that they could determine which affiliate offers they wanted to promote. They did a lot of research to determine the highest purchasing demographic. Now, this is coming from them. I do not claim to be an affiliate marketer or any great affiliate marketer, okay? And I'm sure if you scour the internet enough, you'll find some reports that would contradict this. So, again, I'm not saying this is gospel truth here. But what they identified as the highest buying demographic online would be women ages 30 to 55. Now, it doesn't mean that women ages below 30 and above 55 are going to be forsaken. And it certainly doesn't mean that we dudes are going to be forsaken. But if you want to distribute products in mass and build a huge customer base, doesn't it make sense to have products that are geared to the highest purchasing demographic, online demographic that we have, women ages 30 to 55. Now, if you can figure out your biggest demographic, women ages 30 to 55, then maybe you then want to look at, well, what are they buying? What are these folks that buy more than anybody else? What are they buying? And here's the answer. Skincare. Weight loss. Now, those are 2 of the biggest things they're buying. So let's go back to our chart. And let's look at something that's very interesting. Let's look at something that's very interesting. So we've got this chart. I'm just going to look at the top 10 companies. And I'm sure, again, you could scour the internet and find a chart that may have a company listed on your chart that's not listed in here. Someone said, hey, where's Metaluca on that chart? I don't know, okay? So I'm sure there are other companies out there that, or other studies that you might see. But just follow me here. All right, look at the top 10. Avon is number 1. Amway 2, Natura 3, Herbalife 4, Tupperware 5, Forever Living Product 6, Mary Kay 7, don't know how to pronounce it 8, still don't know how to pronounce, Oriflame, number 9, number 10, New Skin. So let's look at the top 10 of these companies, and we're not talking about these being affiliate companies, these are more of your older line, direct selling, for the most part, offline type companies. Okay, where they still, in some cases, still do home parties as a foundation of people building their business. Okay. Well, if you look at this, you're going to see Avon obviously has skincare. Amway, number 2, obviously got a huge product line, but in that product line, there's some skincare. Natura, again, not as familiar with Natura. They do about $3 billion a year in business. But when I see that they have cosmetics and perfumes and personal care, I'm going to go out on a limb and make an assumption, skincare. Then there's Herbalife, and there's Tupperware, and there's Forever Living products. I'm not quite sure about Forever Living products. They say nutritional supplements and personal care. I'm not going to include that one. I'm not going to include that one just because I don't know. I do know about Mary Kay. Mary Kay. All right. So now, so far, we've got out of the top 7 companies in the MLM space, in the direct selling space, that do the most in sales. Out of the top 7, you've got Avon 1, Amway 2, Natura 3, Mary Kay 4. 4 out of the top 7. 4 out of the top 7. 4 out of the top 7 have a skincare line. Think about that. All right. And then we've got Vorit down here. And then we've got Oriflame. Well, let's see what they have. Oriflame Cosmetics, personal care, wellness. I wonder, can I go out on a limb on that one and say they probably have skincare? I'm not familiar with the company, but can I go out on a limb and say, they might have a skincare line? Let's go out on a limb. All right, and then New Skin. All right, well, okay, yeah, let's go out on a limb. All right, we know that. Most of us know about that. 6 out of the top 10. 6 out of the top 10. 6, Avon 1, Amway 2, Natura 3, Mary Kay 4, Oriflame 5, New Skin 6. Out of the top 10 on this chart. Your chart might be different if you scour the internet. All right, so you might find a different chart. On your chart, I would still like you to see how many of those might have skincare. And so even though I'm a dude, and when they first said skincare, and I'm thinking, really, me promoting skincare? Well, I love the revenue sharing space. I understand, and hopefully by now you're starting to understand that, if you don't already understand it, many of you do, that the revenue sharing space, though it's budding and though it's exciting, we still have to prove it. And what better way to begin to prove it than at least have products that are already proven? And in the revenue sharing space, we have to have more than just the promoters, the affiliates, the reps, the distributors, or what we call promoters. We've got to have more than just them buying the stuff. That was one of the complaints that one of the regulators had about one particular company. They said in their formal complaint that about 95% of the revenue was generated by the affiliate base. They said there wasn't enough people outside of the income opportunity that saw enough value in the product or service to want to buy the product or service. So if we know that that is something that a regulatory body would be concerned about, see, remember, what did the attorneys do? What did the consultants do? They got together. They started comparing notes and started figuring out what the regulators did not like about the binary models. And they started making some tweaks. You didn't throw out the baby with the bathwater. They just made some modifications. And then you have a company like, oh, darn. Oh, it was right there on the tip of my tongue. All right, well, we'll come back to that because that birdie left me. All right, so skincare. Let's go back to this chart real quickly. Let's go back to this chart. If you look further down on this chart, by the way, does Herbalife have some weight loss products? Amway, some weight loss products? That's who I was looking for, USANA. USANA was the company, or it's kind of held up as the company that proved that the binary model could be sustainable and work long term. Now, at one point in time, binary models were under quite a bit of regulatory scrutiny. USANA proved the binary model could be a sustainable and now a staple model in the industry. What if you had been there at the pre-registration of USANA and you had gotten pre-registered? Then when pre-launch came up and you could purchase whatever it is that that you need, a monthly subscription, auto-ship, whatever USANA requires, if you had done that, and if you had been there from the start, and that was the company that proved that the model could be sustainable, oh my goodness, what if you're here at Jubi Rev, Jubi Max, here doing the pre-registration, starting pre-launch in a few weeks, where we can make our purchases, eventually getting into the soft launch where the daily revenue will start. We'll give you a little bit more of that timeline. And this becomes the company, maybe perhaps, that becomes the standard bearer and proves that the revenue sharing model is not a fluke. The revenue sharing model, hear me, is not a money game. The revenue sharing model is every bit as a legitimate model as the binary, or as a unilevel, or as a stair-step breakaway. What if we're that standard bearer and you're here first? Let's go to work. Let's go back to work. Actually, we've been working. Okay, so now so this is what happened. Professional Affiliate Marketing Group, they said, hey, these are the products that are moving online: skincare, weight loss. They said energy. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, we've got a phenomenal energy product in a 96-hour time frame from Monday till Thursday night, actually yesterday. I probably had, and I know this is not good long-term health, so I can't do this forever. I probably had about a total of 9 hours of sleep from Monday to Thursday. No, actually to last night. I mean, I probably got more sleep in the past 24 hours than I'd gotten all week. Did I ever, when you came to our webinars, did I ever sound like I didn't have energy? I had plenty, and I had no jitters. That energy product works. And then vitality. This is a family show. Some of you might be gathered around your computer with your families. So hopefully you know what that means. If you don't know what that means, let me just show you. And the picture's worth a few thousand words. You see how she's looking at him? You see that big smile on his face? Vitality. Okay, I think that's enough said. All right, now, so this Professional Affiliate Marketing Group said, well, one thing is, we know these products move. We know these products move. We know these products move. That's one. Number two, this Professional Affiliate Marketing Group sat back and watched what happened in the revenue sharing space. And they started thinking, you know what? I see the capture pages that they have. What if a company had products like skincare, weight loss, energy, vitality, amongst other things that they may have, and they structured it more like an affiliate offer? So this is what an affiliate offer looks like, all right, where you've got graphic-rich content on the page. You know, the page basically sells the product, not a webinar, not Joe Average. Joe Average doesn't have to sell the product. Susie Average doesn't have to sell the product. So Professional Affiliate Marketing Group says, what if the pages were more along the line of what CPA, cost per action, affiliate marketers are used to, because this is what sells. These things sell, okay? All right, so, and they'll be designing these pages. Now, typically what happens with these types of offers is a risk-free trial will be the offer, and then the person will put in their name and their address and all this good stuff. Now, on our pages, we're not going to ask them for their address and their zip code on the first page because we want to have them to opt in. Also, on our pages, remember with our product line that we're going to be able to give away, we're going to have something called a Jubi card, which is a virtual card that we load up with Jubi Bucks. A Jubi Buck is a dollar-for-dollar discount. So, for instance, if Martha, your customer, comes into our shopping portal, our Jubi Max shopping portal, and she sees some Jubi branded products. She goes to the checkout counter online. $200 is her outlay, but you've given her a Jubi card and you've loaded that up with Jubi bucks. Let's say 100 Jubi bucks. Then she's going to be able to use those Jubi bucks to offset her $200 purchase. Now, each product will have a certain amount of Jubi bucks that she or he will be able to use. In this example, let's just say that she could use 100 Jubi bucks. $200 purchase, 100 Jubi bucks applied to that $200 purchase. She gets a $100 discount. When? Right now. When? Right now. When? Right now. Now, what if she likes the product that she just purchased? What's the chances she's going to come back and want to consume some more, especially if you have the ability to give her more Jubi bucks on her Jubi card, so maybe every time she comes shopping, she gets to get a discount. Now, so Jubi card, and I digress for just a moment. I kind of took you on the detour, and I didn't tell you. I'm sorry. A Jubi card with Jubi bucks is going to be one of the things we give away. Those of you that were used to giving away sample bids, it's the same concept in that we're giving away sample Jubi bucks. Where we think there's going to be a big difference is a lot of sample bids never got used. Whereas Martha doesn't have to go to an auction to use her Jubi bucks. She simply goes at a time that's convenient to her into the portal. She sees something she wants to buy, and she applies the Jubi bucks towards that purchase. Now, I hope I don't confuse you, because we're basically giving away two types of samples: the Jubi cards with Jubi bucks. Now, let's talk about the physical samples, and please forgive me if I confuse anybody. Now we're going to give away the physical samples. Now we're going to give away the physical samples. On your front page, you may be giving away two things. You may be giving away a Jubi card with a certain amount of Jubi bucks and physical samples. On your page, you may be giving away Jubi cards with Jubi bucks and the physical samples. Now, so the customer opts in. We probably won't have the address and city and all that other good stuff right there because we want them to opt in. As they opt in, if your offer is giving them Jubi bucks onto a Jubi card, the moment that they opt in, they're getting that Jubi card and those Jubi bucks, all right? The moment they opt in, which is why we're not going to require the address and all that good stuff on the front page, because we want to have a high conversion of people that see the page that say, oh, I get a Jubi card loaded with these bucks, and I can get a physical sample. Now, when they opt in, it will look something like this. And this is how an affiliate offer oftentimes is constructed. They opt in, and then the affiliate offer says, hey, you can get your sample by simply covering the shipping. All right. Now, our shipping may be a little bit more than this because we're going to be shipping out to a number of countries. I'm hearing that it may the products may be shipped out to as many as 60 countries. All right. So the shipping may be a little bit more than that. It might be something like $7.95 or what have you. Plus, in many of these samples, the samples are maybe only enough for like a 10-day. Many of our samples will be 30-day samples. 30 days, 30 days, 30 days. Now, this is probably where they'll have to put in their address because they'll have to put in their credit card or their debit card information to cover the shipping and handling for the product to be shipped out to them. You and I will not have to store skincare, weight loss, energy, vitality products in our basement or in our garage. We won't have to do that. It's going to be shipped directly from the manufacturer. However, again, this will be our very own Jubi Max branded product line that's going to be shipped out to them. Now, the way most of these affiliate offers are constructed is, and I'm going to blow this up a little bit, make sure you can see it. Give me a moment. Most of these offers, when that affiliate offer company or whoever's providing the affiliate offer, when they get Joe or Susie's credit card information, there's this information down here, this fine print that says, oh, by the way, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you. when you gave us the credit card information, we're going to bill you in another 10 days, $97.88, unless, of course, you call in and cancel. Well, we know the game on that one, right? There's going to be a lot of folks who didn't even read this. Or there's going to be a lot of folks that read it with the intent of maybe canceling within 10 days, and life happens and they forget. And then there's going to be a percentage of folks that actually get the sample, like the sample, want to stay on the product, and they're fine with being on the $100 a month, $97.88 auto ship. We will not back in them into an auto ship like that. We are not going to back in them into an auto ship. Now, what may come up, all right, as a matter of fact, this is going to say something really big, that you are not on an automatic rebill. So when someone submits their credit card information, all they are doing is covering the shipping and handling. They are not being rebilled. Now, there may be another page once they have taken the sample. There may be another page that comes up where they can get on auto ship, but that would be another step where they are taking the initiative to say, I want to be on auto ship. We will not automatically put them on auto ship. Now, why is this important? Because the Professional Affiliate Marketing Group, their stats suggest that 1 out of every 6 folks, 1 in 6, that come to this page and opt in, 1 in 6 that comes to this page and opts in, 1 in 6 that comes to this page and opts in, eventually pulls out their credit card or their debit card, even having read this, that they're going to be put on auto ship, pulls out their debit card and their credit card, and they transact. They at least get the offer. And so what happens with this professional marketing group is they are paid for everyone that pulls out that credit card and gets the skincare. They're paid something like $35 or $36. That's a cost per action there. They're paid like $35 every time someone pulls out their credit card and gets the offer. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to me, I don't know what the profit margins are of the company that's providing the offer, but it says something to me. If the company is essentially paying them $36 for someone pulling out a credit card to cover the shipping and handling, then there's got to be a good ratio of those people that stay on long term as customers. Now, whether or not those folks are customers for 90 days or 900 days, that I certainly wouldn't know. But if a company is going to pay $36 to the promoter for a lead, now, by the way, understand, what I'm saying now is not our model. Our model is not that you or I are going to get paid $36 a lead. I want to show you why I'm excited, why I hope you get excited about the fact that we're going to be able to give away these samples, because if these companies that are paying $36 a lead are sending out mass amount of products and people are continuing to buy them, what happens when you have the element of the revenue sharing model and people sharing the revenue sharing model and eventually building up a very strong customer base of people that continue to use the products? So let's see how good this professional affiliate marketing group was. Does this really work for them? Well, they sent me a screenshot of 1 month. 1 month. Here was that product we were just looking at, RV, 3-in-1 skincare, all right? They got paid $36.50 a lead. They made $68,000, $68,000 in that 1 month promoting that one product line that I just showed you. Now, they were promoting other product lines, but they tend to stay in the skincare space and the weight loss space. That's where they tend to get the biggest bang for their buck. And here was another skincare product that they were marketing, okay? $31,000 is what they made marketing that skincare from that one company. So they generated $117,000 for the month. They generated $117,000 a month. They didn't recruit anybody. They generated $117,000 for the month marketing skincare. Now, here's the caveat. Here's the rest of the story, all right? The rest of the story, they generated $117,000, all right? $117,000 for the month in commissions because of those CPA offers, those cost per action offers. But here's the thing. Their marketing budget was about $75,000. Their marketing budget was about $75,000. So that 117 was not net. That 117 was not net. Let me pull up my calculator so we can kind of get an idea of what net might have been. Give me a moment. Net was more like $42,000. Not bad. Not bad at all. But here's the challenge. How many, first off, that CPA style of marketing to generate that kind of money, there's some additional skill sets that people would have to acquire, knowing where to go and put offers, knowing where to go and advertise. But who can start off with a $75,000 a month advertising budget? That takes a lot. And then the net was $42,000. Well, then they happen to be on the outside looking in. I'm talking about the professional affiliate marketing group. They were on the outside looking in of the revenue sharing model. And they saw a particular one that had a penny auction where there were folks with that company that were generating $42,000 cash in hand a week, and it didn't have a $75,000 marketing budget. There were folks who were generating six figures a week that didn't have a $75,000 marketing budget. And they said, oh, wow. I hope a company comes along that is really committed to having tangible products in the hands of millions of consumers, because if so, we've got some things we can show them. We can show them how to structure certain things that generated massive income for us. But man, instead of us going out and having a $75,000 a month marketing budget, we would rather work with a company, consult with a company that has products like skincare and weight loss and energy and vitality. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what's happening. This is what is so exciting, because we're blending a number of different worlds. We're blending the more traditional direct selling world that is seen as being more legitimate by some people, skincare products, weight loss products, energy products, vitality products, so on and so forth. We're wrapping that around a revenue sharing model. And then the company, and I don't have time to talk about it tonight, we'll probably hit this on Monday night, is going to use another phenomenal tool that there's a company that's using in the more traditional MLM space, in the weight loss space. Some of you are going to figure out who I'm talking about, where they've got this placement tool, and they've got a culture of using that placement tool to really help to grow the team. So this is what Jubi Rev, Jubi Max has done. Jubi Rev, Jubi Max, ladies and gentlemen, is not a company that just appeared because revenue sharing is hot, and they say, let's do a revenue share. Let's throw together a website and let's see what happens. This comes on a lot of background, a lot of study, a lot of research, a lot of consulting with consultants and with attorneys to see how does this need to be constructed so that it has the chance, a real fighting chance, that when Mr. Regulator comes a-knocking, see, when Mr. Regulator comes a-knocking, and he will at some point, he comes to every company that has any success, he knocks on their door. Knocking on their door is not a bad thing. I was with the company, we never got to huge numbers. I was, I think, number 3 income earner with that particular company. It had nothing to do with revenue sharing. And I'm aware, I sat on like the president's council type board, if you will, of top reps with that company. I'm aware of at least 4 inquiries that company had. Didn't shut the company down. The company just addressed the inquiries, and that was it. It wasn't that big of a deal. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand. So this is what's going to happen. This is how this is going to work. I'll be finished in a few moments, and I'll open up for an optional Q&A. So what's going to happen? All right, what we are going to be doing, some of you are used to buying sample bids, giving bids away to generate points for your revenue pool. Okay, that's what you're used to. You're used to a customer registering at a site for free, and your system automatically, depending on what you have set your system to do, it would automatically give them a certain amount of bids. And when you gave those bids to them, you got a certain amount of points in your daily pool. Okay? Well, it's not going to be that dissimilar from that. We're going to have customers register for free. When the customers register for free, we're going to be able to give them a Jubi gift card that is preloaded based on your setting in your back office. You're going to say, hey, I want to give away, depending on how many, what we refer to as Jubi bucks you have, I want to give away 50 Jubi bucks on a Jubi card, or I want to give away 100 Jubi bucks on a Jubi card. Okay, so we're going to give away a Jubi gift card that will be loaded with Jubi bucks. Now, this customer has not transacted yet. This customer has not whipped out a credit card. They've not ordered a sample or anything like that. Okay, but if you gave them 100 Jubi bucks on that a Jubi card, you're going to get 1 point for every 1 Jubi buck given. So for those of you that have come from the sample bid world, replace your bid terminology, sample bid, with Jubi buck. Okay? The second thing that we're going to be able to give away, obviously, will be the actual physical samples. So again, I've not seen the page that we will have just yet. That's still under construction. Okay? I'm thinking that the page is going to promote not only the whatever that offer is, whether it was skincare or weight loss, but it may also on the same page promote the Jubi buck, so that if a person opts in, they get, I'm sorry, the Jubi card with the Jubi bucks. The person opts in, they get the Jubi card with the Jubi bucks, regardless as to whether or not they pull out their credit card to actually get the sample. Okay? Now, we believe that that conversion rate of people actually getting the sample, we already know, speaking with the professional affiliate marketing group, that what they're used to with their particular offer is about 1 in 6 that actually get the sample, and that's even with people seeing the fine print. Now, maybe not everybody read it, but at least it was there. Well, ours will not be fine print. It's going to be big that says no automatic rebilling. So we believe that that conversion of 1 to 6 could be higher. Okay, so now what we're going to be giving away will then be the physical samples, and it'll work something like this. Okay, in order to give away a sample, a 30-day supply of skincare, you're going to need to have a certain amount of Jubi bucks in your Jubi buck balance. I'll refer to that as your JB balance. Okay, all right. So to give away, let's say, a 30-day skincare sample, it may require that you have 100 Jubi bucks, and then what the system would do is it would convert those 100 Jubi bucks the moment they order the sample. It's going to convert that to what? Jubi points for your daily revenue sharing purposes. So we can give away just a card with Jubi bucks to generate points. We can give away the actual physical sample. Those of you that you prefer to build more offline, you love doing the home parties, this is so beautiful for you, because you'll be able to do your home party, but you don't have to store up all of the inventory. Now, if you decide to go that route and you want to do home parties or meetings out, and about and what have you, obviously you're going to keep it compliant. Yeah, it would probably help for you to have some samples there so they can, the skincare and what have you, see what it looks like. But just imagine how many of these samples you can give away. Just imagine how many. See, I believe what's going to happen here is a lot of people in the sample bid world, we bought customer registrations, and who knows how authentic those customer registrations really were. Let's just be honest. A lot of those, and a lot of people didn't even care. All they wanted to do is convert their bids to points so they could earn. But that's not the culture we want to have. That's not the culture we want to have. We don't want a good 18-month run. We don't want, man, if I can get 2 years out of this thing. No. Listen, if that's where you are, then I want you to either start to convert your thinking or feel free to promote maybe something else. And I say that with love. I don't ever mean to come off being condescending. We want to establish from day one the right culture. In time, we want to be the ones that's up on a list like this. There's somebody else in another company, when they're talking about a revenue sharing company and they're saying, USANA was the one that proved that the binary model could work. We want someone to be saying, Jubi Rev, Jubi Max, thank goodness for Jubi Rev, thank goodness for Jubi Max. Like I say, like many of us say, thank goodness for Amway in 1978 when the U.S. government took them to task and they kicked them in the backside and won that court case, and it helped to legitimize an entire industry. I firmly, with every fiber of my being, feel that we have the opportunity to be on this list and be the company that people say, that was the standard bearer. That was the company that changed it all. There were some other predecessors. There were some MySpaces that were there. And then all of a sudden, there came along a Facebook. I want them to say, I believe in time they will say, Jubi Rev, Jubi Max became the Facebook of the revenue sharing industry. It wasn't the first, but did it the best. That's where I believe we are, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give you a little timeline. There's another part of this that I've not covered. You'll get to it in time. I just want to give you a quick timeline and then get to a few Q&As, about 15 minutes of Q&As. Okay? All right. Where we are now, there's basically 3 stages that we as promoters are interested in. Stage 1 is the stage that we're in right now. This is pre-registration. All right, so we're in the pre-registration stage. Well, obviously, it doesn't cost anybody anything to come and align with us. All right, people can get registered for free, obviously. Okay, the whole idea of this, and there have been other companies that did pre-registrations, and in some cases, I've seen pre-registrations where you pre-registered and that was basically it. You didn't have access to a back office, or it was like bare bones or what have you. Now, our back office doesn't have everything it's going to have, but hopefully you now see it's not bare bones. One of the things that Jubi Rev, Jubi Max is certainly very keenly aware of is that a number of people that participated in the revenue sharing model, and maybe one company in particular, that a lot of those folks are going to be attracted to Jubi Rev, Jubi Max. Jubi Rev, Jubi Max also understands that since that particular company, there have been a lot of other companies that have come about with the revenue sharing model. Some of them have had some stumbles out of the gate. Some of them are still here, but they've had some stumbles out of the gate. And so Jubi Rev, Jubi Max understands that confidence is everything. And so the company knows it has to earn. It can't just assume that because it's a revenue sharing model and some of us drank the juice, You know, we've been in the industry for a while, and some of us even made a lot of money in the industry, and all of a sudden we got into revenue sharing, and it just completely changed everything. The company understands it can't just assume because we drank the juice, the revenue sharing juice, that's all you need to do is have a revenue share and everybody's going to come. No, it says no. We have to earn. We've got to earn Tyron's promotional respect. We've got to earn Aaron, who's putting his name on the line. Huge list. We got to earn that man's respect. We can't just expect him to come and promote with us just because we're going to have a revenue sharing model with a placement system. And no. That's why we did the pre-registration. The company did the pre-registration before it asks you for 1 penny, earning your respect, your trust, your confidence, your loyalty. Pre-registration, we're going to be in pre-registration until the manufacturer is closer to delivering product. Products and formulation, bottles, everything with our brands and so on and so forth. I would imagine we are at least a minimum couple of weeks away. That doesn't mean that in 2 weeks pre-registration is over, but the company wants to make sure that we're very close to being able to ship product. Why? Because when we do make our purchases, those of us who choose to do so, which I pray everyone does, those of us who choose to purchase inventory of Jubi Bucks or whatever the packages that we'll have to select from, what are we going to want to do? We're going to want to give away our samples of the skincare or the weight loss or the gift cards with the books. So we don't want you to give away a sample and it takes 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks for the customer to get the sample because we weren't ready to start with. We're going to err on the side, even if some folks say, well, I'm ready to make purchases now, you know, because I want to get commissions when my folks make purchases now. I understand that. But we want to do this right. Remember, we want the right culture from day one. We want the right culture from day one. Stage 2. Stage 2 is pre-launch. Now, this is where we can then purchase our packages. And our packages would come with a certain amount of Jubi Bucks, and something we have not discussed here is there's going to be a travel component too. So that will probably include some of the samples as it relates to the travel. Again, we've not discussed that here. Now, I can tell you that the attorneys are not comfortable with a $10,000 or even we know of one company that does a $12,500 package that you can purchase. Our attorneys are not comfortable with that. They believe that offering a $10,000 or $12,500 package in and of itself would lend itself in time to more regulatory scrutiny. So we will probably have a max per package of somewhere in the $2,500, maybe the $3,000 range. But here's the caveat. Okay? In our industry, there's typically a 70% rule, which basically says you need to use or distribute 70% of your product that you've purchased before you buy another package. So let's say that $2,500 is the top package. All right, let's say that $2,500 is the top package. Well, assuming that's the case, whenever you've given away 70% of the content of that package, which includes some Jubi Bucks and includes maybe some travel cards and what have you, another thing that we'll be able to sample and give away, guess what? You can then buy another $2,500 package. And then you can buy another one. Give at least 70% of that away, and then you can buy another one. Give at least 70% of that, and then you can buy another one. Wait a minute. Are you telling me, T. Lamont, that when we're ready for pre-launch, if I have the resources, and if I have the resource only, because we're never going to preach for people to max out their credit card. Never going to preach that. We're never going to tell people to go and get a loan. We're never going to tell people to go and tap into your 401k or tap into, no. This is not an investment. It's not a mutual fund. It's never going to be promoted that way. And And if you see anyone promoting it that way, stop it so we can protect this goose that lays the golden egg. And yes, in time, there'll be a strong compliance department and all of those good things, okay? But, so you mean to tell me that I could load up my eCash, with $10,000 or $20,000 if I had those resources? I just can't purchase 4 packages of $2,500 at a time. I can't purchase 10 packages or $25,000 at a time. If I loaded up my eCash only because I had the resources for $25,000, then I could purchase a $2,500 package, give away the contents. Then I can go and purchase another package because I've got money sitting in my eCash to do it. Yeah, that you can do. That you can do. We're just not going to be out promoting $10,000 packages, okay? So second stage is the pre-launch. In this stage, we'll be able to purchase our packages. You'll be able to choose your monthly subscription. There's going to be, I got to hurry up before I pass my time. There's going to be 4 monthly subscription options, $15, $50, $100, and $200 a month. We'll start talking about compensation. We'll start putting out some compensation videos next week. I'm going to tell you that you want to consider budgeting in your initial purchase that $200 a month subscription. Many of you will make enough commissions to cover that for the next month and then next month and so on and so forth, okay? When you start to understand the compensation plan, you're going to understand why you'd want to do that if you have the resources. Never going to make anybody feel like a second-class citizen if they don't, okay? Now, this pre-launch stage, I couldn't tell you exactly how long that's going to be. That will probably be a few weeks' time because we want to make sure that people from around the globe have plenty of time to adjust their budgets, make their purchases, get them in the system. We do anticipate that we'll have several pay-in systems, debit card related that it'll be easy. You'll have a debit card that you'll be able to use that will be tied to a virtual bank account. You'll be able to get funds into that virtual bank account pretty simply. But we still want to make sure that people have enough time, all right? Because some people are pre-building, and obviously if all of a sudden we open up the floodgates for purchases and we run commissions right away, some people, we want to make sure everybody gets commissioned properly, okay? All right. So during this stage 2 pre-launch period, commissions on the package purchases will be issued. Commissions on the pre-launch package purchases will be issued. The daily revenue has not started yet, but commissions on the pre-launch packages will be issued. And hopefully you would have gotten your debit card or what have you, or debit cards, because we're probably going to have a couple of those. And so those of you that want to actually send those commissions to your card, you're going to be able to. Some of you are going to decide, well, I'm going to take those commissions and I'm going to buy more inventory and give that inventory away. So shipping will be happening during this pre-launch period. And then the final stage that most of us are concerned about, stage 3, is going to be soft launch. And basically what happens in the soft launch, and this is what we're all waiting for, right, is the daily revenue sharing. Now, I can tell you it's not going to take 6 months from stage 2 to get to stage 3. It's not going to take 3 months to get from stage 2 to stage 3. It'll probably be a few weeks time frame. It'll probably be a few weeks time frame. And I'm going to tell you this. Once you start understanding the compensation plan as we understand it, you're going to really want to take advantage of stage 1 pre-registration, really build out your team, Right now, I think you can see you're personally enrolled. They've not turned on the functionality yet for you to see through your generations and beyond. That's going to be turned on soon, maybe in another week and some change, okay? Obviously, we want people engaging in the pre-launch. That's going to generate a lot of commission dollars. And if you take a portion of those commissions, you don't have to. Take a portion of those commissions and buy more inventory, give that away, that generates more points. What I really want to see is that when people get to stage 3 in the soft launch, that we have folks that have 10, 20, and I'm not talking about just because they made purchases and gave things away. I'm talking about because they made commissions and maybe use some commissions. I want to see folks that have 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 and 100,000 points or more the day the company does its daily revenue. Think about how powerful that would be if the day the company shares daily revenue, you're sitting on 30,000 points, 50,000 points, 100,000 points. Okay, so that's a little bit of the timeline. I'm over my time. I do apologize for that. So let me stop right here. Anything that we do after this is purely optional. Some of you remember the well before the internet when we would go to the weekly meeting, and after the meeting was over, there was the meeting after the meeting. I was always taught that the meeting after the meeting is more important than the meeting. And some of us went to IHOP, and some of us went to Waffle House, or wherever that late night joint happens to be in your country of the world. So that's what we're going to do for about 15 minutes. This will be a time for you to open up your questions box. We'll get to as many questions as we possibly can. Give me a moment. I need to do one thing. I want to stop. No, never mind. We'll be fine. Never mind. We'll be fine. Give me just a moment. Darn. Let me get my questions. Bear with me. By the way, in your back office, under calendar, you'll see the calendar for the coming week. This coming Monday at 12 noon Eastern, we'll have a Jubi Rev presentation webinar. And then we will have on Monday evening at 9 p.m., we'll have our training/leadership webinar. You're going to hear some voices from the field, some tremendous leaders that you'll hear a little bit from. And we're going to start talking about the Jubi Suite this coming Monday night, which is a powerful, powerful part of our overall compensation plan. Okay. Okay. By the way, congratulations to our top promoters. I believe all of you hopefully have gotten the email today of some of our top promoters out there. Folks that have we've got folks that have already referred over 200 plus folks. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Realistically, when might we begin stage 3? Cindy. Once again, I would imagine that the pre-registration will go for, I would imagine, at least another 2 weeks. I don't think it's going to be before that point that pre-launch begins, but I think at least another 2 weeks for the pre-registration. Then the pre-launch is going to be. The pre-launch, you know, I don't know, that might be a 3 or 4 week process. I think a lot of that is going to depend on, you know, how soon does it take for people to get their processors set up, to make their purchases. Some of that's going to probably depend on feedback from leaders in the field, because obviously folks are going to want to make sure that they've made their pre-launch package purchases and they have been able to give away contents to generate points. So Cindy, we're still talking a few weeks away. We're still talking a few weeks away. When management comes on, they'll probably be able to give us a better indication of that timeline. Okay. Someone is asking, is there a unilevel compensation plan? Yeah, Rob. What you're going to find is on the compensation. Obviously, the revenue sharing model is the core, and then from there you've got overrides. There's going to be generations, a generational payout and a unilevel payout. And in many cases, in some companies, generations and unilevels are synonymous. If you say generations, you meant unilevels. If you say unilevels, you meant generations. Not the case here. There's a distinct difference between generations and unilevels. A generation simply means, let's say, Rob, you refer Tyron. This dude is personally enrolled like 200 and some folks out there. All right, Tyron would be your first generation. He's always going to be first generation to you, no matter where he winds up being in your unilevel. He's always going to be first generation to you. Okay, if Tyron refers Jameson is also, I think, in the top 3 Actually, he might. Hey, Tyron, uh, yeah, Jameson, you're right behind Tyron, man. I want to see y'all duke that one out. All right. But if Tyron refers Jameson, Jameson is first generation to Tyron, but Jameson is second generation to you. That always is going to be the case. That generational relationship never changes. That generational relationship never changes. Okay. And of course, if Jameson refers someone, then that person is third generation to you. So what's going to happen is on the overrides, you're going to receive up to 10% from your first generation's purchases. You're going to receive up to 5% on your second generation's purchases, all right, and up to 1% on your third generation. Now, I will tell you, the company that really put the revenue sharing model on the map, they paid up to 10%, up to 5%. That was it, and yet they produced, I mean, just huge revenue earners. I mean, huge just from that. What Jubi Rev, Jubi Max is going to do is going to add a third generation, 1% there, but then this is where the unilevel comes in. There's going to be an 8-level, unilevel, and it's going to pay an equal percentage on all 8 levels, half of a percent. Okay. Now this is where this Jubi suite that we're going to talk about on Monday really comes into play. All right, really comes into play. Okay. Let's say, for instance, here you've got Tyron, who has personally enrolled some 220 some odd folks so far, and he could go to his team and he can run a contest, and he could say, maybe one of his top dudes or dudettes has, referred 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, who knows. He could go to his folks and run a contest and say, whoever does the most this, buy this, the most production, the most referrals, the most whatever, all right, he runs his own contest. He can decide to place any of his personal referrals, he can place them into his unilevel. He does not give up his first generational bonuses. He doesn't lose anything. He doesn't lose anything. He doesn't lose anything. So if Tyron decided that he wanted to place Marlene with Jack, all right, what would happen is Tyron still maintains the first generational relationship, still gets to 10%. What Jack would pick up, because now Marlene would be in Jack's unilevel. Jack would pick up, assuming he's qualified for whatever the levels are in the unilevel, he'd pick up a 0.5%. Well, what if Marlene gets to the point where Marlene has 100,000 points? And whatever that revenue may be, and Jack might get, he would get his 0.5% override daily. And not only did Marlene get placed with Jack, but all of Marlene's entire organization is in Jack's unilevel, and it did not take anything away from Tyron. And as a matter of fact, Tyron, by the way, if you placed Marlene so she is still in your 8-level unilevel, that 0.5% also still comes up to you. So you would actually earn like 10.5% in this example. Okay. So yes, there is a unilevel, but it's different how it can operate. There's a company out there that has taken that concept of running contests and that placement, that a holding suite concept, we call it the Jubi suite, and that has swept them to just amazing success. And they have a weight loss product. I hear some people say it's a great product. I hear some other people say it's all right, but it has swept them to success because they've created the right culture. Okay. All right. I don't know. Someone's asking about the package amounts. I don't know all the packages. I just know that the top one is probably going to be about $2,500. And that same questioner, we just probably answered your question when we talked about these percentages here. When will recorded webinars go up in the back office? A great question. As soon as they are rendered, which does still take some time because a lot of times while things are recording, there's certain things that we need to edit out or black out or what have you. I can tell you that you're going to start seeing webinars, not necessarily webinars, but training posted in your back office under training that deal with compensation. You're going to start seeing some of those on next week. We're going to highlight ultimately all 10 ways the company is going to pay. Will have an individual video. These will not be promotional videos more than they are training videos, so that you can understand not only the percentages, but more importantly the culture and the thinking behind why the comp plan is what it is. So if we understand that, then we can breed the right type of culture of activity. Okay. Someone is asking me about the travel product. That will, Fred, that's probably going to be ever evolving. As a matter of fact, I know there were some discussions that were just started the other day that were a lot more, where they were talking about expanding what they're going to do on the travel. Right now, the travel would include access to a resort-style booking engine. About a year and a half ago, my wife and I paid like $3,500 for a membership where we got a resort access to a resort booking engine, and we could book, like 2,000 different resorts in like 85 countries. And what would happen is we would still pay for the week to go to that particular resort, but it was at a fraction of the cost of what you would normally pay. And then we didn't have the timeshare ongoing maintenance and ongoing monthly payments until it's paid off or what have you. Well, that type of booking engine is going to be in our system, but there are going to be other elements over time that the travel will be expanded. Now, one of the reasons the company is putting that is because though our manufacturer will ship to a number of companies, a lot of countries, excuse me, not companies, countries, there's probably going to be some countries where shipping is going to be prohibitive. Now, ultimately, we want to get to the point where there are distribution outlets in maybe other countries, all right? So even countries that may be a little bit more prohibitive now may not be as prohibitive tomorrow. When I say tomorrow, I'm talking a little bit more futuristic as the company builds and grows and so on and so forth and expands. So the company understood that, well, if somebody is in a country as a promoter, but they have a difficult time getting products shipped into that particular country, we still need them to be able to promote with us. We still need them to be able to give away a product or a service that is a legitimate product or service in the eyes of the regulators, so that they can also generate points. And that's one of the reasons the travel piece is there, not to mention it can in time be extremely profitable for the company, and obviously that shows up in our daily revenue. All right, I'm going to take a couple more minutes here. All right, give me a moment. Someone was asking, this is a great question, okay, because someone was asking, they're saying, is there a certain revenue average that the company is going to be working around? Okay, this is where I want to make sure we have the right culture. And so for the person who asked that, please, hopefully you've captured my spirit and my heart by now. So I'm certainly not saying this to be condescending. Revenue share is based on revenue divided by the revenue that the company is going to share that day, divided by the number of points that are in the system. It's impossible to project what that's going to be, particularly when not one product has even been shipped out. No one has made a purchase. So it's really impossible to say, hey, this is going to be what you can expect. That's going to change from day to day to day. Now, I know that there are companies that have been in the space or maybe still out there in the space that project a certain amount. But again, we want to be here for when? Not for an 18-month period or 24-month period. We want to be here for the long haul, all right? We want to be here for the long haul. So that's really, now certainly after a while, a person might be able to get an idea of, what things look like on an average day, sometimes up, sometimes down, but, somewhere, on average. I will tell you this, one of the things, we're going to make sure, the company's going to make sure that we're saying the right things, and we start changing verbiage. We don't want to use banking terms. Percentages, off limits. Compounding, off limits. We don't want to use investment terms, off limits. Okay. I dropped a certain amount into my eCash, or I put in off limits. No, you made a purchase. Now, you maybe funded your eCash for the purposes of making a purchase, not an investment. Okay. Now, someone was asking about the question of the packages and why would one want to put more than $2,500 in their eCash. The point I wanted to make on that is there are a lot of companies in the revenue sharing space that allow you to purchase as much as $10,000. We've even seen one company that allows you to purchase $12,500 worth of inventory. Our attorney is uncomfortable with offering a $10,000 package or $12,500 package. Uncomfortable with that. Believes that puts us, from a scrutiny standpoint, that just generates more scrutiny. That doesn't necessarily have to be generated. Now, if someone had the wherewithal to make a $10,000, $12,000, $20,000 purchase, well, they could fund their eCash with 10 or 12 or 20 or whatever. We certainly are going to continue to say, raise your right hand and pledge that you're not going to hurt your family. Please don't go out and max out your credit cards. I was with a company that had a model, and when we would do our team webinars or what have you, I mean, we were very, very, very strong at that point. Don't you hurt yourself. Don't you hurt your family. Don't go borrow money and what have you. And when that company was met with some regulatory headwinds, I got one person who emailed me that was a little upset because of the regulatory headwinds. And what they said was that they had someone who lost all their money, the last few $1,000s they had, to which my reply was, you couldn't have been on our webinars, because on our webinars we told you, if that was money, if that was scared money, if that was money to pay bills, you shouldn't be using that to make a purchase. That's not good business. This is not an investment. We're not in Vegas. We're not in Atlantic City. We're here to build a business, a legitimate business to stand the test of time. And there'll be some folks that when they come to some of these webinars, they'll say, oh, that's not what I'm not looking for that. And we're going to love them, but we want the right culture from day one. All right, so have no idea what the daily is going to look like. What I do know is that from a revenue sharing standpoint, from everything I've seen in the revenue sharing world, this has, for me, the most promise of being a long-lasting, here for a long period of time, hopefully showing up on one of those charts, because revenue is being centered around products and then services from the travel part that aren't under the same type scrutiny in our industry that maybe some other products and services are. Okay? I'm going to take one more, and then we'll call it a night. Okay? Lyndon is asking, other than the, give me a moment. Lyndon is asking, on the monthly subscriptions, we mentioned there's a $15 a month, $15, $50, $100, $200 a month. What's the advantage of having some of the higher levels? Well, there's going to be rank qualifications. You get to a certain rank, and then you get, because you've gotten to a certain rank, your commission levels are higher, which means you'll earn more money and things of that nature. Also, what you get as a consumer, as a promoter who's also a consumer, you're going to get more inventory with the 200 versus the 50, or the 100 versus the 15. I don't know completely everything that goes into each of the monthly subscription packages. I will tell you this, that one of the things that the company wanted to do is it wanted to incentivize folks hitting certain ranks sooner rather than later. And hitting those ranks, you know, you could go out, you could market, and you could sell your way to those ranks in terms of people doing enough production or enough buying from you, or a path of least resistance to get to some of the ranks is to yourself be your own customer, in which case your monthly subscription counts for volume that you need to attain to hit certain ranks. So for instance, if I want to be at a certain rank, all right, sooner rather than later, a $200 a month subscription is going to help me achieve that rank quicker than if I was at a $15 a month subscription. Now, a big part is also going to be this, that the retirement of points is going to be tied to rank. The higher your rank, the longer your points live. The higher your rank, the longer your points live. Now, this is a big deal because we saw, for instance, a company where they had 3 monthly subscriptions. They had a $10 a month, a $50 a month, and a $100 a month. And at one point, there were some very distinct advantages of people having a $100 a month subscription that was both consumer related as well as economic related. I want to build a business. I want to make some money. I want to make more money. I want to make all the money, not just some of the money. Okay. And then we saw that they made some changes, and the $100 a month subscription was no longer had the same power from an economic standpoint that it once had. And what did people do? They went down from 100 down to maybe 10. Well, what that did for the field force is where you were getting an override commission because John, Mary, Susan on your team had a $100 a month subscription. Now when they have a $10 a month subscription, that was a precipitous drop in that income. So what the company wanted to do is it wanted to reward folks for hitting certain ranks. And one of the ways to reward folks to hitting those ranks, one, and then maintaining those ranks, number two, was to say, well, if you maintain this rank, your points live longer. If you decide to downgrade from a $200 a month subscription to $15 a month, you have every right to do so. And any points that you earned while you were at the $200 a month, those earned for those time stamp, those earned for that period of time. So the most that our points will earn will be up to 105 days. All right, up to 105 days if I have a $200 a month subscription. If I have a $100 a month subscription, it's like up to 95, which is still a tremendous time frame, all right? But there's a big difference. There's a big difference, and you pull out your calculator and you do some ideas. Now, don't start just sending out spreadsheets. Don't do that. That's not compliant, all right? But there's a big difference in points earning for 90 days versus 95, or from 95 days to 105, all right? And so what I'm simply saying, that by the time it's time for you to make your choice of a monthly subscription, this is my last question I'm answering tonight because of time. By the time, and this has all been optional, by the way, by the time it's time for you to make an informed decision in terms of what your monthly subscription is, you'll understand all of that. But this is why I'm going to strongly suggest you consider budgeting in with your initial purchase the $200 a month subscription, because a good amount of folks are going to earn commissions in that pre-launch phase that will cover the $200 a month subscription for the next month. So that in many cases, you may only pay that, in some cases, you may only pay that subscription out of your pocket one time, and the rest could come from profits, which is what we'd love to see, coming out of profits, not out of your pocket. All right, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we love each and every one of you. We appreciate everyone being on tonight's webinar. Our next webinar, of course, you can log into your website. Your login is Jubi Max, jubimax.com/members. Okay. Log into your Jubi Max back office. If you haven't begun going through some of those training videos, it's under training, please go on and do so. Make sure you watch the videos on the home page and go through some of those training videos. We want, again, to have a culture of folks who understand the system, that understand that we're here for the long haul, that we're not here for some quick, 6-month, 12-month, 18-month, 24-month money game. Not interested in that. We want to be here for the long haul. The calendar is where you have the calendar of events on Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have a Jubi Rev, Jubi Max income opportunity presentation. If you've been to one of those before, you already know kind of how those work. If you haven't, we'd love to see you if you can. That's going to be held at JubiRevWebinar.com. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have our very first official Jubi Rev weekly training leadership webinar. We'll introduce you to a couple of great leaders out there that are building phenomenal businesses, and we're going to talk about the Jubi Suite. We're going to talk about the Jubi Suite. And that's going to be JubiTraining.com. I believe that's it. That's what this URL. No, it's Jubi Rev Training. Excuse me, Jubi Rev Training, which is exactly this same webinar link that you're on right now. Okay, so you're registered for today's. You're automatically registered for Monday night. You don't have to re-register. Okay, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours. And remember, with Jubi Rev, Jubi Max is not just a company. No, it's not. It's a movement. Have a good evening, everyone. Great weekend. And go, who am I going for? Am I going for the Ravens or the 49ers? That's right. I don't want the 49ers to win their 6th Super Bowl championship because I'm a Steelers fan, and I can't stand the Ravens because that's my biggest rival. But I guess I go for the Ravens. Go Ravens. Good night, everyone.